See if I can reuse this little box somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure we can. Lots of baby asparagus as well.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
That was a bit easier than I thought it was going to be. Hello and welcome back to the garden. We're down in the raised bed area, and the plan for today is to try and make some new raised beds out of the reclaimed sleepers that we bought what feels like ages ago. We've done a clean up on a couple of them, ready to turn them into garden beds. So that's the plan. Let's see what happens.
By some very strange coincidence, these posts from the bottom all the way up to the bottom of the black thing are about 1 metre.
Yeah, perfect.
This allows us to kind of see it.
I think that's a pretty good location.
Yeah, just trying to make sure. I think there's a little bit more space there than there, so.
But that's fine.
Think about future olive harvesting.
Sure, yeah.
Actually putting things, so I really want to do all the thinking before we start carrying heavy logs down here.
Yeah, it's good. And it's just like the plan that we did,
Yeah, no, that's
which
why.
is always a nice surprise.
And then the other one's going to go here right after we've moved
Yes,
this.
yeah.
Yeah, okay. How many bricks do you think we need? 10
Yeah, start
for
with
the
10.
sides and then the bottom? Yeah.
Take it easy with that one.
Hey,
Take it easy.
I just want it done.
Yeah, I know. Yes, it's another instalment of moving something that we've moved already.
Yeah, 2.8. I did the math before and I've forgotten already. 1.85.
This way, yep. That way.
Yep.
Nice. Okay. That should be okay like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, need longer legs. So I have the exposed end, so it's going to go right up here
Okay.
on its side. Okay, so this one has to be spun around.
This, as in this
So
end goes
so
down
does
there.
this one, yeah.
That's okay. I can do it.
Oh no, what did we do wrong? Sorry, I got that wrong.
I'll just turn it around again.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Sorry.
No, you're not. You did it on purpose.
Did not do it on purpose. And so that's why, because you had it around the wrong way, it needs to be flipped over in this direction so that the track is on the outside.
Good job they're really light. Otherwise moving them multiple times would be much more difficult. We're going to get comments again about using a level in the garden.
Okay.
So we're going to have to put this brick long way so that it can go under this one as well.
I don't want it under that one for the moment. I just want to get this level.
Okay.
This is just a test, like I said. It's all got to come out to get the cardboard. So I just want to test to see if this actually gets it level.
Okay.
On this end?
Yeah, I'm coming. Oh, hang on. Yeah, go.
Yep. Okay, so then this bit gets a little bit high. So we can dig these bricks in a tiny bit.
Yeah.
And then it would be more or less level.
Okay. Okay, there has been much conversation about levels and bricks and heights and drainage and bark and many other things as well. And I think we've come up with a good compromise. The plan is to put a single layer of bricks underneath the entire bed. So the bed is going to follow the slope of the land, but we've done our best to kind of get it as flat and level-ish as we can. This is not a piece of fine furniture, this is a garden, and so we are saying it's good enough. We're going to be putting a whole load of bark in this area, just like the rest of the garden as well. So we're going to get everything in position, put down some cardboard, build the bed, and then put bark all the way around it. You look very warm.
It's hot. Let me just explain why we're using the bricks, and there's two reasons. The first one being when we put the bark around the outside of the raised bed will be less raised than we want it to be. We want to utilize the full height of the sleeper. So we're trying to raise it by a brick's width, which is more or less the thickness of bark that we'll be putting. So you'll see the full, I can't get my words out, the full sleeper height above the bark. The second reason is for drainage, we don't really want to put the sleepers directly onto the ground. We thought of lots of things, putting gravel down, etc., etc. A brick is actually a really good solution. Bricks on either end. On the bark side, a little bit of bark will inevitably go under the sleeper. On the inside, when we do the Hugelkultur, we'll make sure we kind of line the edges where there is this gap, the brick gap, with some logs and stuff so that nothing goes under the sleeper, so it's still not sitting on any earth. It is tough with words in the heat, and it's not even that hot yet.
I know, it's crazy.
Okay.
Let's get some bricks.
Yeah, I rescued some bricks. I just have to finish cleaning a couple of them up.
I tell you what, let me just shuffle that out of the way.
Okay, yeah, and then you can just... Try that.
Okay.
They're going to all just move a little bit more again when we put screws in and whatnot.
Oh, God, they're heavy.
Okay, so this one has... There we go. I think like that. You can always just tap it in. As I said, it'll move again.
Yeah.
Try there.
Ready? Yeah, down. Okay. Like that-ish.
So I wonder if we can just leave it there and do the cardboard, like you said, around it. I don't know if we need to... Oh, I guess we could do the same thing, which is I come along with the cardboard.
Yes.
You lift that up and then I'll scooch it under the brick.
Yes,
yeah, okay.
lift and slide.
So, let's get some cardboard.
Rolling and lifting. Oh, no, lifting.
You go up onto your brock and then I can go onto mine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's rough. When we screw them, we can adjust them.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we can actually screw them all together.
Yes, we can.
You'll have to go in and out quite a few times. Probably should have used a normal bit and then switched to this bit for the length. But it's fine.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah. So can you stop for a second and measure the screw against the bit so you know how far you need to go in?
Almost all the way.
All of it. Okay.
What are you saying? I need to go in almost all the way?
If you can.
If I can.
You need to come all the way out, I think, because the waste comes out at the tip. Yeah.
Explain that to me again.
Stop it.
So I'm just going to try going straight in with the screw this time.
Yeah, there we go. Is this lined up? Are we happy with that? I guess we can adjust that one. Yeah, okay.
That's a lot easier.
Yep. Not eucalyptus like we were told.
Yeah. So that is our first bed built, and it started off being quite fiddly and ended up being quite straightforward, which is always nice. We'll tell you a funny story about the whole pre-drilling thing a bit later on, but for now it's time to fill the bed up. And we're going to be using a technique called Hugelkultur, which is something that we have done before and works really, really well. If you've not heard of it before, essentially it is piling a whole load of logs and twigs and sticks and leaves and other organic material at the bottom of the bed. And this has two benefits. The first is it retains a lot of moisture, which the plants can then use for a longer period of time. And the second thing is it means we need less topsoil or compost or other kind of infill material because half of it's already taken up with logs. If you want to know more about that technique, we've got a couple of videos on it. I'll stick a link down in the description. But for now, we're going to get this bed filled up.
We don't have very much of the big thick stuff.
It's a bit of orange tree, I think.
And these good pieces, I think this is dead cherry or something.
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe olive.
No, it looks more like cherry.
Yeah.
That's vine.
Look at that wonky one.
That's quite a lot of wood.
Yeah, I don't actually think it's that much. Like when you see our pile behind us, it's still quite big. Though, by the time we finished all our raised beds, I'm hoping there'll be nothing left. I mean, we have much bigger logs down there on the boundary still.
Yeah, that's true.
But these, that'll be for the double height one that we make. Oh, it's finally getting cooler.
Yeah. Well, a bit of cloud.
Yeah.
It's that stone. Yeah, probably don't want that anymore.
Yeah, that makes it much more bearable, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
And that's probably enough now.
Do you want to explain why you're...
Yeah, so no, that's enough, I think, because by the time we put the soil in, there's not going to be that much growing space for roots.
I'll just do it for demonstration purposes then.
Okay.
I think that's now like the perfect amount. Any less would have been rubbish. Oh! Can you explain why you're pressing it down so much?
I'm not actually pressing it, I'm rotating it to help the small particles fall in the gaps.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what will happen in the next couple of weeks is it'll sink so much.
It will sink a bit anyway.
It will sink a bit, but this kind of helps all the little bits go in between, and then the bigger bits just stay here on the top. And because we have lots of decomposed bark, there's lots of different sizes, and so the small ones, not those decomposed oranges. Oh, tired of kneeling though.
Yeah. So the big trouble with that earth pile from when we dug out the house
And the moat.
and the moat is it's not really an earth pile, it's a rock pile with a bit of earth in it.
Yeah, they're not rocks, they're...
Huh?
It's not rock, it's just compressed,
It's like compressed clay,
compressed
yeah.
clay. But as long as we don't add too much of it.
Yeah, I don't think I've got the energy to go and get more than this wheelbarrow.
Okay.
So our Hugelkultur comes up to probably around here, and then we've got some mulchy stuff and then some soil from our big pile, probably about to halfway. The rest is going to be compost and then bark in the pathway.
Oops, some of the road.
So that is 3 wheelbarrows of compost, and this is probably the level I would like it to be at, but it's probably going to sink a bit more, so I think I'm going to do another half. And I'm just pressing this down because this compost is really fluffy. It's almost like a powder.
staple down the sides once we've got the 4 top ones done. As we planned.
Yeah. Oh, look at that.
So you want to put these in the main bed, right? But
Yep.
these are 3 Thai basils. And then, right, so this is a pepper and this is a pepper. And they can go over here. Okay, so some of them don't have labels, which I think means they're not cherries. They were in the trays with the other things. And
Oh, there's
then,
black cherry and Durenia.
and Galena.
Hello. Hello. So space in here for a few more peppers. We'll put those at the back, shaded out by the tomatoes. Extra protection.
It's very much the Portuguese way, right? Staying indoors until late.
I don't know if the Portuguese way is gardening at 8 p.m. on a Sunday night.
Well, not on a Sunday night, but any other day of the week they're out.
Yeah, that's true. So the big question is, are you happy with your raised beds?
I am. I would be happy when there's more.
Do you mean you'll be happier, or you will
Happier.
only be happy when there is more?
No, happier. They look great, especially when you come down the staircase.
Yeah, it does look
They
good.
look really good.
It does look good.
Right, and I'm just going to go and prune those courgettes.
Oh, yeah. Right, there we go. 2 raised beds built and planted, although the second one is only half planted, but that's fine. So, the story about these beds, the old sleepers that we reclaimed, there has been much discussion about what species of timber they are. Now, they were sold to us as mixed eucalyptus and oak hardwood reclaimed railway sleepers. And so we thought they were at least some kind of hardwood, probably oak or eucalyptus. But then when our tree surgeon guy, George, came round to do some work for us, he gave us the answer to the mystery, which is they're actually made of pine. Hi, Ginger. Which was a bit of a surprise to us and a bit of a disappointment because we bought hardwood reclaimed railway sleepers and they are softwood, but they are treated. Not with creosote, as we were worried that they might be, but George did explain the treatment process here in Portugal. They tend to mix used engine oil and diesel into like a paint-on paste. They paint it onto the timber and then they wrap them in some kind of plastic, kind of like cling film, but I think a bit more heavy duty. And then they leave them out in the sun to bake and to let that penetrate into it. So they are treated, but not with creosote. And they're not hardwood, they're softwood. Thinking that they were going to be hardwood, we'd bought this extra long drill bit to pre-drill all the holes so we didn't snap any screws or damage a drill or something like that. But it turned out the pre-drilling was way more painful than just driving the screws straight in. Anyway, mystery over and job done. Anything to add other than your happiness that the project is complete for now?
Happy that it's complete. Disappointed that we don't have a hardwood. And I think what led to some of the confusion early on, and someone in the comments, or a couple of people mentioned this, is that if they were treated with engine oil, diesel, or did get contaminated with that, it changes the colour and the fibres. And so when we were doing our initial kind of little tests, the timbers, there were some timbers that were really reddy brown, some that are quite a browny brown, not very many kind of the yellowy colour that you expect from pine. So that really threw us off. And also the texture of the fibres has really changed. And so the good thing is there are no toxic anything in these sleepers, and the cleanup has gotten rid of the surface and there is no smell whatsoever down here with these treated ones that have been cleaned up. So that's all good.
They look great.
Yeah, they look a nice honey browny colour. No, slightly darker than a honey brown. We are going to do one double height one for a future herb bed, but that's not going to be for some time. But we do have to build 2 more, I think, to finish planting all of our peppers and chilies. So got to get to a bit more cleanup and get those prepared.
So a job well done, and we will draw a line under this one here for now. I'm going to go off and make some dinner because I'm getting hungry. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time. See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, I got to go finish the squashing potato bugs.